Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Capril. Hey, today I want to talk about the issue of buying local. Now, where I live, there are a number of stores that are part of the subdivision. And the guy who owns the liquor store, well, let's just say he and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. Long story, but he loves to go on social media, which is dedicated just for the subdivision, and talk about the merits of buying local, among all the other reasons why you should only buy from his store. And me being kind of an economist, at least from a thought process standpoint, when he makes those self-serving comments, I always love to point out the flaw in his argument. So let's talk about what is his argument. His argument is if you buy local, the money stays local. Now, think about this from two perspectives. If local is more expensive, which in his case it certainly is, does it make sense for you to injure yourself, which in a way you are because you're paying more than you should, just for his benefit? Now, he's going to come back and argue, hey, look, having stores here that are vibrant adds to the value of the overall neighborhood. And of course, he's right about that. But he's also failing to recognize that if it wasn't his store, somebody else would come in just as easily. The other thing that he's failing to acknowledge is that he's the sole beneficiary of buy local because the money doesn't stay in the neighborhood. Sure, when I give it to him, it does. But then what does he do? He buys supplies outside the area. So he's not buying his bourbon from local bourbon people. He's buying them from distributors all over the country. Although where we live, he's buying them from Kentucky. But the dollars aren't staying local. He benefits. Now, that's fine. God willing, go for it. But don't think there's a moral obligation to buy local. In fact, I would argue that in reality, even though we not all that excited maybe about the chain restaurant or stores, the big box stores, they employ a lot of people. And those people will shop local. Those corporations give billions to charity. They do a lot of good. And they buy goods and services from all over the globe, very often just like your local retailers do. Your local retailers, I think sometimes are just looking for an in, as if there's some virtue in shopping with them. Look, if you like what they have, buy it. But don't feel obligated. Don't feel as if you're somehow helping the economy when you do that. You're not. You're helping the local retailer, which is okay. But also understand this. They should give you many reasons. Excuse me. See, I talk with my hands. It's a problem. They should give you many reasons to buy from them. Being local is just one. And if it's not big enough, don't feel guilty about calling Amazon. It's kind of funny. I remember when, or I shouldn't say you'd call Amazon, you're going online. I remember when Walmart was expanding and you would see, heck, the city of Chicago didn't want them. And the argument was always that they were going to hurt small business. Now, that's not why the city of Chicago didn't want them. The city of Chicago didn't want them because they weren't union. But there are communities where they're like, we don't want Walmart here because it's gonna ruin mom and pop. Maybe it is. But do mom and pop have a right to live in a competitive free environment? I don't have that right. Should mom and pop? I know that sounds harsh. I would argue that mom and pop can compete very well against Walmart. They're going to have to work a little harder, but they can certainly create an experience that makes people want to flock to their store more than Walmart. And it doesn't have to be on price. It can be on so many other things. I mean, the case of this liquor store, and I've given this guy more suggestions than you can imagine, but he has the ability, if he wanted to be the liquor store from miles around, if he would just change a few things in the way he operates and the way he sells things. But he won't. And so what he's trying to do is play on the fact that he's local, and therefore you owe it to him to buy locally, and you do not. So I just want to point this out. Don't feel guilty if you get on Amazon. If you get the best deal on Amazon, fine. If they can deliver it to you same day, fine. Don't worry about that. Businesses who want to stay in business will adjust. They will counter. And it's not really that hard. They just have to work at it. So, how to get that off my chest? Because I see this all the time. And people are like, well, I like to support the local guy. Well, fine. But just understand that beyond helping him, you may not be helping your community at all. And don't buy into the myth that somehow you should feel morally obligated. Your moral obligation is to buy what you need at the best price in a way that's most convenient for you. That's it. And if businesses want your business, they will compete for it like everybody else. Take care.